Good morning, Holly. I hope you're well. Scott here. Thanks for the question. I will answer it specifically for you, but also in a slightly broader sense for everyone else in the community, because it's a great question and I think everyone can benefit from it. So let me just go over the question and then we'll give you the answer. I'm hoping you would have a minute to help. I've secured a rent to SA in Wales. Fantastic. Was going to use a staging company to furnish it. Due to distance, it was outside your budget. Therefore, I'm planning to drive down and furnish it with good quality, solid wood, second-hand furniture, buy the beds, get zip and links, all the kitchen stuff, etc. Good. Just wondering if there are any tricks I don't know about making it financially efficient to furnish the house, or better ways than I have already planned. So, great question. I'm happy to answer it. A few points to consider before I jump into the answer. Number one is the opportunity cost of doing this yourself rather than a furnishing company. So when you factor in your hourly rate, and again you might not know that, but it's always beneficial to work that out. What is your time worth per hour? Now you're in Scotland, I don't know whereabouts in Scotland, but that's definitely a day out of your life. So that's like a day rate. That could be hundreds of pounds. Are you going to be able to do this in one journey? Might be two. So that could be, I don't know what you do, it could be like £1,000 of your time that is invested in this, as well as going and buying all this, loading the van, doing this. So it could be 3 days worth of work for you. And when you factor in your hourly rate, even if you make that number up based on your salary or what you want your business to achieve. So if you're going to be working 20 hours a week in your business and you want to earn £100,000 a year in income, you can work out your hourly rate. So let's just say that's £100. Well, if you're going to be doing 10-hour days here times 4, that's going to be £4,000 if my maths right. But you can work that out yourself. So the opportunity cost of doing this yourself to save money may actually not be cost efficient. So that's definitely one thing. Are you going to need 2 trips for this? So often when we look at this, the furnishing might seem expensive via a company, but actually when we add up all the individual elements, because a good furnishing company should be bulk buying this, getting the stuff at a cheaper rate than you could for similar quality things. You've mentioned good solid wood, so that's great. But going to, I know you're not doing it, but people may go to Ikea for a sofa bed and save like £1,000, but it isn't, because that sofa bed isn't hotel quality, it's not commercial, and it breaks. Think of big hairy builders jumping in that bed for a month, you're going to need to replace it. So getting cheaper beds that isn't going to stand up to the wear and tear and the use means you need to replace it more often. Now I understand the difficulties of setting up rent to service accommodations is the initial cash flow, the money, because you may need to pay a month's rent, you're going to pay a deposit, all the other setup costs, maybe even a sourcing fee. So big chunks of thousands and thousands going out extra to pay for furniture and can impact cash flow, and you may not have it. So we're working with the constraints that we might have here. But number one, furnishing companies should be using good commercial grade furniture. They should be buying in discount, meaning when you think you're going to get it cheaper, when you add up all these individual elements and you're buying them from kind of mainstream places rather than buying them bulk wholesale, you end up paying more in some instances. Sounds as if you've done your research, Lynn, and you're buying well and you've thought about it, but factoring in everything and running about and your time in the van and gets down there, probably just as expensive. Jumping on, firstly, because you're coming from Scotland to Wales, due to the distance, it was outside my budget to use a staging company. First answer to this is consider using a staging company that's local, somebody in the community. There's big furnishing companies that often get referred on and they can be expensive, but if you're at the start of your rent to SA journey and someone's at the start of their staging journey, they could probably be much cheaper, either not making as much margin because they're not a big operation. So supporting a small entrepreneur that's maybe local to the area in exchange for you giving them, they're giving you a very good price for this, or they're helping you, or they're running and being your local person while you manage it from Scotland. They're local in Wales, but they could do this in exchange, yes, for a fair exchange of money, but you could give them a good testimonial, some good reviews online to launch their business. So working with someone else in the community, again, we don't want to be working with people who don't have the skills that we need to get your property up and running and looking well. You can contact local staging companies who may have like end of line stuff, may have stuff in their warehouse to do it cheap. If you're just contacting the big companies and getting that standard quote or the package off the website, it can be expensive. But reach out, speak to local people, local entrepreneurs, local business owners. They may have some stuff. And there's also people selling stuff in the different forums in different places. So people are exiting rent to rents. I bet you there's some good quality furniture to be bought as well. So the different Facebook groups are good to keep an eye for people selling it. So there's always people doing that. And even if you're driving to pick it up and then going to Wales, you can get it at a fraction of the price. Sometimes people's rent to rents come to an end and they give the furniture away. One of our franchisees, Pillow Property Managers, knew somebody that was giving away, I think it was Liverpool, and they were going to sell it for like £5,000 worth of stuff. Time ran out and they ended up giving that away. So you can get stuff for free in a lot of issues. But if you can take the lease payments off of somebody that's exiting a rent to rent, that's often a good thing. So they maybe have financed this, have got good quality furniture that fits your units. You can reach out and say, hey, they got rent to rent furniture they want rid of. Or you can take over the lease payments so that they don't default. You take the furniture, that works well. So another thing here, remember if you're using a furnishing company, they should be able to get you finance on this. If I take a round figure of £5,000, a furnishing company should be able to get you some finance on this and get the product all set up for you, because it's well known, so you can actually furnish it for a couple of £100 a month there, and that definitely helps your cash flow. So ask about getting credit and then getting this on, paying it monthly rather than a one-off, because that makes it much cost efficient. If you've got a rent to rent in Wales and you're in Scotland, well, that shows that you're going and making it happen. You'll be looking at more rent to rents, I would imagine, especially outside Scotland because of the licensing. So you're going to need to keep your cash reserves there, keeping 3 months operational costs in the bank, furnishing your future properties, paying the rent and building that rent to SA business. So you want to spend as little as possible buying the furniture up front as possible. Next solution for that really is that there's lots of things. If you go into ClearScore, and I'm not promoting this, I'm not promoting getting credit, but ClearScore link to your bank account and you can get pre-approved for credit cards. So it's not affecting your credit rating badly, but you can go into ClearScore and they'll pre-approve you for credit cards. So that's quite a nice thing to say, based on my circumstances, here's like 5 credit cards I can get. Many of them are interest-free for 3 years, so that's probably the length of your rent-to-rent agreement. So you can buy this stuff, put it onto a credit card, and then pay that off. Again, you need to speak about the tax and how that works, and transfer it by a personal credit card and putting that into your business. But that's a tax thing, that's easy for your accountant to do. But you can get an interest-free payment on that. And if you can get an interest-free payment on a credit card, it's probably better than taking these finance agreements out with the furnishing companies at a higher interest rate as well. So we spoke about the negative part of doing it yourself, which is the time involved to do this, the opportunity cost of your time, your hourly rate, and of course the stress and work. If this is your first one, this is great because it gets you learning exactly what you need. I would suspect you'll miss stuff because I did, everybody does, and you'll need to go back and put other things in and get that ready. So you might need multiple journeys here. So building local partners is amazing, which is why I suggest a local furnishing company that's on the way up that just needs a first client, and you can help them with that. The positives of doing it yourself is if you're buying a package from a furnishing company, it's all pretty much the same. It's a commoditised market. If you're flicking down Airbnb, you'll see all the furnishing companies roughly the same. You'll be able to spot what someone's done and done with their own creativity, like yourself, versus one from a furnishing company, because they're all the same more or less. So you can put your own touch in this, and you can buy individual pieces that are going to look nice for the wall picture, the first picture online that people will see, to sort the scroll, get them looking into your listing wherever they see it. So you can also document buying the furniture, building it, and get the videos up and running of you doing it, showing that you're working hard, showing a before and after case study of the empty property, then you're putting your hard efforts in to getting it ready. You can document this to build your profile online. You can take the pictures of the various before and afters and the progress pictures for case studies to get future rent to rent, showing potential business partners, hey, I took this empty buy-to-let property, this empty unit, and I made it into a beautiful Airbnb. So you can document that, you can take videos, you can take photos and start building your profile and promoting this rent-to-rent unit to get direct bookings. So lots of good things about doing it yourself, but there's also benefits to outsourcing it to a furnishing company and definitely getting this on some form of credit via the furnishing companies, the staging companies, or you can go onto ClearScore and get interest-free credit cards. If you use your own credit card for this, you can go onto ClearScore balance transfers as well. So it depends on your personal circumstances how much that would be, but you'd probably be able to furnish a property on one credit card and get that for 3 years interest free, which may be a cheaper interest free option than paying, 6-10% to a finance company. So I hope that helps.